journey in which we can extend our knowledge, skill, and competency on ICT tools. Today, we are fortunate enough to have a proficient educator in terms of research, finance, and management studies is none other than the same speaker of yesterday's session, Dr. Kunal Soni, Associate Professor, School of Management, GSFC University, Vadodara, to elaborately deliver the lecture on ICT and effective presentation skills. Let's get ready to enjoy the beauty and benefits of ICT tools. May I request the resource person to add much more flavor on today's topic by his natural flow. Please, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah. So just confirm the screen sharing. Yeah, I hope it is visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Right. So today the topic is more advanced in comparison to the yesterday. So yesterday we have discussed about the brief about outcome-based education, and in which I have also imposed much importance on use of ICT tools and artificial intelligence, because we had a lot of discussion yesterday that today is an era where we cannot deny and we cannot avoid the utilization of ICT tools and AI tools, right? So for our growth, for our enhancement, for our development purpose, it is the need of an hour, right? Even the today's topic is ICT and effective presentation skills. So when we talks about presentation, it's not only about the PPT, right? It's not about the other softwares that we are preparing, but the presentation skills is morely concerned about the topic and the content that we have to deliver to your target audience. And after that, where to collect those topics, and if at all we are looking for those topics and content, how to save our time, how to save our efforts with minimal time efforts, with maximum output in terms of the effectiveness in the presentations of the topic, and that could be easily downloaded in the minds of people, right? So that is where the importance of ICT tools, even in the development of the presentations that we are looking for, is much important. So that is where the topic for today's discussion is ICT and effective presentation skills. So that is where we have to impose more on this particular aspect, even though there are certain tools which is available now in AI, right? You just type the topic and your presentations are ready, right? Even previously we had some business plan competitions, right? So if at all you are looking for preparing a business plan, irrespective of the field in which you are, whether you are from science, management, right? Management, obviously the people are more prone towards preparing those business plan, but again, if at all you are from science, you are from technology, you are from fashion designing, right? So these are the certain areas where people are having technical ideas, right? But they are not concerned and they are not aware about the things which is most important for the the life of the business, which is called the management of finance, right? Funds. So even if you want those kind of analysis, so this kind of analysis are also generated by AI. So this is the era which is where no people is without left out, where the people are not knowing anything is not possible. But the person who don't know the utilization of these ICT tools and effective presentation skills, I think they are lagging in terms of downloading the content and the topic that we have to download to the students. And that's where the differentiation will come out, and students are having more expectations in today's scenario, because if at all we are not using those tools, but yes, students are more prone towards utilizing it. So sometimes we face a difficulty, by standing in front of them, because they are here to have upgraded content, upgraded, parameters, and they are also here to see what they don't know, right? So that is where we constantly, being a faculty, needs to upgrade ourselves, and that is where the real-time generation of the content and the parameters will come out, right? So that is where it is very important that ICT, and along with that, effective presentation skills, which directly hit in the minds of students in terms of proper understanding, is very, very important, right? So that is why the theme for the discussion is ICT tools and, effect ICT tools for teaching, learning, pedagogy, right? So that is where the utilization of ICT tools are much, much important, along with the qualitative parameters in terms of, group discussion and all such aspects, right? So that is where the scenario has changed, and now it is gone to online platform. So with this note, I would like to start my presentation. So first of all, when we talks about ICT tools and effective presentation skills, so we need to understand why every organization and universities and institutions are worried about this particular aspect in terms of goals. Because if it talks about the primary goals of any organization, right? So primary goals, already I had discussed yesterday, that employability, right? So employability doesn't means that quickly I'll revise that the students got placed from the placements, but being a faculty, being a mentor, we need to enhance, we need to ensure that they should possess sufficient level of skills to sustain in the market and survive in the market, and most importantly grow in the market, right? So that is where the employability is there. Increase earning potential, right? So not only they will sustain and survive, as I already mentioned, but they also should grow in the market. That means they should put themselves into the next position in the field or in the domain in which they are working, either in the business or service sector, right? So irrespective of the sector in which they are, they should stand out to be the best, and they should be satisfied with themselves, and they should remember that where they were learning, the faculties and teachers was so updated, and that's why they are updated today, right? So that the credit goes to the mentors, the faculties. If we are growing in the market, the only one in today's scenario is effective utilization of ICT tools and improvisation in the presentation skills. So skills needs to be like it hits to the mind, irrespective of the language, but most importantly, the right amount of content and right type of content, which is required in our presentations. Advanced knowledge, everything which is happening surrounding to them, in connection with their topic or the domain in which they are, studying, right? So that is where the knowledge should be more advanced, more, outwards. They should aware about all the research aspect which is happening, all the innovations which is happening in their fields, right? And that's where they will turn out to be the more advanced, right? And because if you are staying to be ordinal, right? So you are not in a managerial position, or you are not stand out to be, extraordinary. So to stand out to be extraordinary and to charge something from the market, you should have the more advanced knowledge, so which is much, much required in the parts of academics. Wisdom. So if you have all this, so the happiness of the students is always going to be there, from both the end, whether it is from the faculty and the students' perspective. So students are getting good placement, and the student good placement is a record of good working, good knowledge, good guidance, and good mentoring of the faculty, right? So that is where it is a goal of education, right, as a primary goal. And research and experiment, right? So we should always motivate students to always look all the parameters, all the theories, right, in the research and experimental perspective. We have to develop the scientific outlooks where the student should be able to see all the aspect in the research and experimental perspective, right? So that is where the importance of research and experimentation is going to be much, much higher more. Secondary goal, if we achieve those things, so what else we can put in our pocket? The first is the spiritual growth, right? So spiritually, the student should be strong, as I already mentioned. Stay positive, never ever hesitate in your life, even you are facing some hurdles in the initial level of learning or adopting some system, but this system is beneficial to you at the later stage, right? So that is where you have to adopt those things in a very positive manner. And there is one study also, those who are adopting the change in the later stage, they are always the less beneficial person, in terms of getting the box from this particular aspect. If you are more prone towards adopting those changes at the earlier stage, the benefit that you will receive is quite better than the later stage, right? So that is where spiritual growth needs to be adopted. Mental growth. So mentally, you have to be very, stable, right? Your mental growth should be there. The mental growth is only happening when you are working in a stress-free environment, and where the freedom of working should always be required, right? So as and where you are working, either you are getting a freedom or not getting a freedom, but you have to make your mind to be free, and the free mind can think about anything. if your mind is disturbed, so that where you will get stuck up, right? So being a student and faculty, it is very, very important that you should keep your minds to be reserved, but in a positive manner. I'm not saying that it should be free, but it should be in a reserve, in a positive mind, where it should not be taking up unnecessary pain, unnecessary tensions, so that kills your productivity in both the aspect. If the faculties got disturbed, the thing which needs to be downloaded in the minds of students is not going to happen, right? So mental growth of the mentors and the students needs to be properly maintained. Engaging in question answer, obviously, as I already mentioned, that if only one way traffic is going on in the classroom teaching learning, right? So students are out of the discussion, right? They will not pay attention. So to bring them into the discussion mode, it is always advisable that after 10 minutes, 15 minutes, right, you should engage themselves into question answer, or you should also allow to have some problem statement where the critical thinking of the students are going to be allowed, right? So that is where you always makes your session in such a way that you should keep them engaged in question answer, right? So that is where engaging in question answer, and that's where you would be able to facilitate them better lifestyle. Because if students are having all the psychological and IQ level of parameters in a proper way, so students can develop their life into more better way, and that creates a better lifestyle for the students. And that is where you being a mentor is helping them to shape their futures, shape their career, and shape their life, right? So that is where it is a secondary goal that students should have better lifestyle after the graduation or post graduation from your universities and institute. And that is where the changes is a part of life. And today's much changes is ICT tools and developing a scientific outlook, right? So you also have to develop the students' mindset in such a way that they should not adopt what is saying in the market, but they also should have their own vision, by checking all the parameters from the scientific and technical grounds. And that is where they have to check the authenticity of the content and the things that they have to undergo, right? So that is where their understanding, is going to be much important, and it is going to be increased. And that is where they will be able to see and the things in a scientific way, and more importantly, they will not get cheat in the market, and that's where they will be able to sustain in the later stage of their life. Three dimensions of ICT too. Firstly, it is a creativity, right? So creativity needs to be there. So ICT tool brings the creativity in the mind. Earlier when we were making the PPT, we never thought about it. The PPT should be made in this thing, in this style. This picture needs to be adopted like this. So in a manner that every person has their understanding, by having the observation from the other people were getting an idea. But ICT tool has bring tremendous changes. Even you don't have to bother about the themes and all this aspect, or even if you talks about ICT tools in other aspect. So if in business plans or something, or even you aware about the chat GPT, whatsoever content that you are looking for, just give one command and the things is ready in your hands, within a single click. Also, you need some modification because human mind is different and machine is different, but still it help us, to make your work to be more easy, more, concrete, and in less time, right? So that is where we have to use, and we had already discussed yesterday the ethical consideration of AI tools and ICT tools. So obviously we have to use it, but we should not copy paste. We should apply the mind, because machine will generate as per the command, but you should not give the every command to the machine, right? Where your intervention is required. So that is where human brains is going to work out, and that is where the effective presentation skills, effective management of the content is going to play an important role, right? So that is where creativity is there. Then creativity will leads to competitiveness. So let's say there are two, three professors, two professors are, learning the ICT tools and its utilization. But one faculty who is at the later stage of their life or at the retirement age. So if he or she is not learning, so obviously there is no competition between them, because the way this particular people is going to work out in the coming time period, and the way this particular person is going to work, where he or she is not, prone to adopt the ICT tools. So they will not provide the content and the effectiveness or the quality of the content that these two people is going to provide in the coming period would be quite, on the lower side in comparison to these two people, because they are using the modern tools and techniques, right? Which students are also expecting. It's not like that we are showing our smartness, but it is now need of an hour, right? ICT tool is a need of an hour. You cannot avoid it, because if you are giving assignments to the students, and if you are not using ICT tools, and if students are using ICT tools, and although you have given the assignment for the same topic which you are teaching, and if students are coming out with the more better presentation than us, then it's something feel hesitation, right? So that is where we make ourselves to be always open to learn the new things and to enhance our skills in terms of learning all the ICT tools, and the way we have to improve our presentation skills. So that is where competitiveness is always going to come out if all the people in the university institute are using it. And the same can be downloaded to the students. So the competitiveness in terms of enriching the content is going to be much high. And that is where the fruitful results can be generated out of the content and out of the students' understanding. Right. So that is where the ICT tools are going to play an important role. And collaboration. Sometimes we are giving students assignment, and if students are doing this ICT tools, right, in a group of discussion, so collaborative efforts will be helpful. Just like, if we have given some projects, so students earlier, when Google Drive, Google was not there, so it was not possible, where one person is working, he or she is mailing to them, and they were also preparing it, and again they are sending it, and then discussion was going on the phone, that which is right, what is wrong. So again, multiple discussion, multiple changes was happening. But Google Drive, where you share the common documents with each other, and they will make the additions, editing and all this aspect is possible with the use of ICT, right? So ICT plays a tremendous role in terms of education system, and that brings the harmony in the minds of students and faculty. So if at all, if ICT tool has been used by considering these three parameters in terms of creativity, competitiveness, and collaboration, so it brings the harmony in the society, right? So society will get benefit. Our students are getting placed at good places, and that is where they will happy for this, right? Because they have adopted those changes at the right time, at the right place, and that is where they have been placed at the right place. So that is where the ICT tool is going to be much important. What are the types of ICT tools? Like, let's say, if we are going for the utilization of ICT tools, and if you are looking for some ICT tools as a part of uses, YouTube's. Yes, you all are using YouTube's. If at all, if you don't know any process, if you don't know any software utilization, or if you don't know any certain content, and if you want some understanding, so we might refer the YouTube, right? So we had certain channels of experts who is providing the data, the lecture series, or kind of things. So we can also suggest to our students and also suggest to our colleagues, right? And that is where we can have the understanding of the process, right? Because we have already seen that if we just read those things, the the understanding power is 10 to 20%. But if we hearing those things and observing those things, so understanding are going to 50-70%. So obviously the audio visual aspect of videos are always going to be much useful in comparison to all the books and related contents that we are teaching to our students, right? So that is where we should also ensure that they should go to visualize those videos, and they should have their own understanding. Clear? Okay. Even in YouTube's also, if somebody is aware about it, then in YouTube also there are certain AI tools which gives you the summary of that particular video. I hope you are aware about it. Yes or no? If you don't want to watch the entire YouTube video, let's say 10 minutes. So if you have this AI tool, they will give you the glimpse of this particular video with second and minute wise, right? So then in 0 to 1 minute, they are saying this, 1 to 2 minutes, they are saying this. So even, the minute wise, you can give the bifurcations of the video. So that is also possible with the use of ICT and AI tools, right? So this is a time, where nothing is impossible for us. Even within a fraction of seconds, you can give the answers if you know the tools. But the only condition is you should know the tools. I hope I'm making sense. Yes or no? I'll show you the demonstration, right? YouTube
Yes, sir.
video.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, let's show the demonstration, YouTube video, right? If you have a YouTube video, right? If you have YouTube video, right? So what you need to do is you have to download Glasp AI, right? You have to download the Glasp AI tools, right? You have to download the Glasp AI tools. Clear? let's say our own, this is Pelgam news, right? This is Pelgam, right? So what this video is saying, right? So if I have this GLASP AI tools, I hope you are doing with me, everyone.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you have, because madam has requested today that it should be practical way, so I will try to make it practical. Whatever I'm saying, I'll show you the demonstration. Right. GLASP AI extension, right? So you have this GLASP AI extension, clear? So you just, GLASP AI Chrome extension, right? So if you click on here and if you go into it, add to Chrome, I already have it. So they will ask me remove from Chrome, right? So you can see this, highlight the text, videos and more, right? So you can see this GLASP AI. And now I'm going to this. So the moment I open this video, can you see this? It got activated in my screen. Are you getting it? Or you can see the GLASP AI from here also. Can you see this GLASP AI? Right. So you can see this GLASP AI web highlighter. And the moment I'll click on this, I don't want to see this video because I'm sitting at somewhere. My boss is asking, have you watched this video? Or might be your principal is asking, so today the introduction was given by principal. Let's say she's asking me what is there in this video, right? Let's take the good video rather than this because it is very shared and we don't want to indulge into this. पॉप को दुनिया किस तरह से याद रखेगी, right? So let's take this video. This is a video, right? How much time it is? 19.34 minutes. Clear. Now, if I don't want to see this because I don't have a time, I need to give an answer in 2 minutes. He's sitting in front of me and she's asking me. So you just click on this transcript. So can you see this? What is this at the 0 second? What this video is saying? Right. So 0 to 43 seconds, then 44 onwards to 1.26 minute, then 1.26 to 2.11 minutes, 2.12 to 2.48 minutes, right? So this is how, this is going to be, right? Even if you want to change the language, right, then you can also change the language in a way you want, clear? So this is how it is going to be, clear? Can you see this? And sometimes, people are giving you some assignments to make this report. What this video is saying, can you make it? Yes or no? And even in future, if you are doing this video for the second time, and if you feel that this line is going to be much, much important, so this is going to be saved for you forever, right? And it is going to be highlighted like this. And if you want, in this case, again, you want to add note, so I can add the note that pop message for the world, right? So it is going to be saved for me, right? It is saved for me. The pop message has been saved for me, right? And if you want to highlight, if you want to copy this text and if you want to paste in, the Word file, right? If you want to make it in Word file, you can make it like this. Can you see this? Highlights and notes. And you can see this, whatever, title which I had given as a note, pop message for Word, right? It got highlighted. Can you see this? Yes or no? I hope it is clear. Please confirm.
Yes.
Right. So this is how your work is getting easy with the utilization of these AI tools. So AI tools are very, very important in this today's scenario, right? And we must utilize those things. Even you can share those highlights into different more manners. Clear. And every, you can see this is for every minutes and every seconds, the messages. what exactly this video is saying. Clear? So this is how it is going to make wonders for you, and we must utilize those things for all of us. Clear? Every minute, every seconds. Okay. Right. So let's go to next one. So YouTube is the powerful ICT tools, and again, to understand this powerful ICT tools, you have the AI tools also now, right? So world has gone quite ahead on this. Wikipedia, again, if you go to Wikipedia, again in Wikipedia, if just like I had given you glass pi, so if at all you are searching some articles, let's say RBI, CB guidelines, and if you feel that this guideline is important for my study, or if at all if somebody's, like if you are in certain business, like I'm from banking sector, so if I want to consider the RBI policies, so I'll always highlight those things, which is important. Just like we are preparing Word file, and in Word file we are highlighting important things. So same thing you can do it for online website also, for your people, for your concern. If you have this Google Chrome extension of glass pi, so you search this particular site and you go to the site and highlight this thing which is more important and applicable to your business or services. And anytime if customer is coming in the future, you don't have to read the entire article. You have highlighted those things, and also you have made a note for this particular aspect. So again and again, you don't have to make such efforts, for reading and all this aspect, but you are saving for these things for rest of your life on online platform, and that too on the same website. But this content and highlighting things is applicable and available for you only. So that is the beauty of these AI tools. Clear? Google Groups, as I already mentioned, Gmail, right? So email can be done to instruct the people. Calendars, right? So calendars can also be the part of it. You can have the reminders, messages. So all these things is possible through the calendars. Google Drive, Google Drive is also there, where you can put the content, you can highlight those things, so that is where Google Drive is there. Right. Then you can also have Google Groups if you want to make a contacts group, so you can always go for Google Groups, and you can also import those contents on this, Gmail or all these aspects. So that is where contacts are also be the part of it. Okay. Then Google Docs, right? As I already mentioned, if you are working on some projects where you are trying to make the projects on the Word file, right? So you have to make those Word files into Google Docs, right? So this Google Docs will help you out to prepare the projects on a common platform, where you can have the access of all this aspect. Clear? So multiple people can work out on the same time. Even you can see this, what people is doing it on this particular file. And if you feel that there is a modification, so you don't have to call them. You just make the modification in the same seat, and the projects is going to be ready, right? So this is where the new things, new parts that has to be learned. And the same way Google Slides, Google Excel spreadsheet in terms of Excel and PowerPoint is also available, right? So that is where you have to utilize. Blogs always be there. You should also read the blogs, and again you should use glass pi tools wherever you feel that these things is important and highlighted things, so you can always highlight, and those highlighted things you can download it all, copy in your wall which is required, and you can make the documentations also. So that is where ICT tools plays an important role. Google Maps, again, everybody is aware about it, so I'll not go into it. SlideShare, where slides are available as and when you require. So I think it is much utilized and outdated thing, but I'm not going to discuss detail. You all know that. Important source of information, Wikispace, Skype. These are all the platforms where you can connect. Dropbox, right? So Facebook, these are the social platform. Twitter, now it turns into X. Digo, SlideShare, again, Mozilla Firefox and Google Chrome, right? So these are the search engine and search window, right? So that is where you can always have the various kinds of information, either in terms of articles, or you might be connect yourself on the some meetings part, right? So that is where, or you may be socialized with the social platforms, right? So that is where you can have the information of recent trends, techniques, what invention is happening, right? So that is where it is called important source of information. Role of ICT tools. So again, it was a ray of hope in the pandemics. We had already discussed before 2019. Nobody has think about it that the lectures could be possible while sitting at the home, and enjoy your learning, and at the same times, the learner can also enjoy by sitting at home and have the happy learning from both the part. So that is where it is an integral part of today's teaching learning process, right? Because face-to-face interactions was not possible at that time. So countries over the globe was quite worried, right? So it was a COVID time. So I'm just showing you how the ICT tools has came into the real-time practice for the people in the world, right? So that is where the COVID-19 was, the ray of hope, you know. So COVID-19 was blessing in disguise for ICT tools that has come into practices, right? In all the teaching and learning pedagogy. So that is where benefits of effective utilization of ICT tool. You have to motivate students. So students are always going to be motivated because they don't have to come. Transportation time was saved. In COVID-19, their health was priority, their life was priority. So obviously they were feeling safe while sitting at the home and they, have a learning. It makes session more attentive and interesting because you have your screen and you can have the focus on the learning. There is no disturbance in terms of others people making noise or some activities which can grab your attention and distract you from the learning, right? So here the continuous learning is possible. Re-energize teachers motivation, right? So it keep motivate the teachers, because the teachers administrative task is also going to be very, very less. No controlling parameters is there in terms of classes. Everybody is free to enjoy the learning, and those who are not interested, they will not disturb the class, right? So that facilities are available. Learn new skills and techniques. Students should learn new skills. Let's say if I'm discussing something here and if you have some doubts, you can always go to Google and you can always have the search and you can re-verify the things what I'm saying, right? And that's why I'm showing the live demonstration, right? So that you don't have to re-verify, but you can learn it in terms of new skills. Help students to understand the concept clarity, because everything in front of screen, and if students are having certain doubts, they can always go and have the more learning in the websites, chat GPT, and all certain tools are available which within a seconds they will provide the content and students can have their happy learning and enhance their knowledge and skills in terms of the better understanding for this particular topic or the content that they are looking for. Clear? Help students to concept clarity. Okay. So why ICT tools was blessing in disguise? So we'll not discuss much on this, but yes, from students' perspective, students don't have to go at the diverse location. Although those students who are coming from the rural places, so they can have they can save the money, they can sit in the home and they can learn it. And most importantly, it was a cost friendly, right? Because if at all somebody has to learn from the ICT tools, so ICT tool is not that much costly. You just have your laptop PC and you should have your connection, and rest is history, right? So that is where it is cost friendly from the students' perspective. From teachers' perspective, in the COVID-19, it bridged the gap between teachers and students because it was a challenging time that how to make education to be uninterrupted. And that time, ICT tool has played a significant role in terms of managing flawless education across the globe, and India was one of the, much blessed country that, that has been utilized in such a way that even Doordarshan there was a session of maths and English was going on, and it was an initiated by the government, and many a times other people were also sharing the lectures links, on the WhatsApp links, right? So people were utilizing many education institution, HRDC, MMTTC, universities have arranged certain FDPs, so that time was completely utilized for enhancing the knowledge and skill for FDP web. There was one concept called workshop, webinar, right? So all those topics was there as a part of continuous learning while sitting idle at the home during the COVID-19, right? But that was possible with the, invention and utilization adoption of ICT tools in India. So that is where this tool has played an important and significant role. What are modern tools of ICT, if it talks about it? So there is a Swayam portal where students can go and appear for the MOOC courses. As we all know that it is approved by Ministry of Education and Government of India, right? So all the courses of Swayam is approved by the government, and it can be authentic for API calculation for faculty and for students also, right? And Swayam is also making tie up with all the universities, for offering courses for the credit basis, right? So all those universities who are having tie-up with the Swayam, so they are also putting one course as a part of Swayam selection, right? So that is where it is going to be. Coursera is an international platform for MOOC courses, where good international universities like Yale University, Harvard universities, where the professors are making their videos, and they're also putting CEC component as a part of continuous evaluation during the session, right? So you have to read, you watch the session, and during the session they are putting some quiz or assignments for submission, and after the completion of course, they are also taking some small test to assign you and to evaluate your understanding about the particular topic. And once your assignment got finished, you have been awarded with the grade sheet, right? So that is where Coursera is again a great platform. There are certain courses which are paid, and Swayam is completely free, where you have to just pay the exam fees. Harvard universities are also portraying their own courses, so obviously you can also access, but again they are paid. Baidu is very great platform before 2-3 years for all the primary and secondary and higher secondary students, but I think they are now out of the market because their content are available easily in the market, so they are now out of the market. But again, it was the great platform for the learning materials for all the primary school students, right? So they were having easy access of the materials. IIM Bangalore's are also providing certain courses. I had put the images like one of the course like retail management, right? So they were providing online certification. Google is also having digital gauge, right, where you can enroll yourself and you can read those content and you can appear for the exams for certifying on this particular content, right? So Google